Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a critical intelligence briefing from Interpol. And this isn't about your run-of-the-mill credit card theft. We are talking about a rapidly evolving global criminal industry that is fundamentally changing the very nature of crime itself. So, let's get into it.
Let's just start with a question that feels like it's straight out of a thriller. Imagine your phone rings. It's a family member, and you can hear the panic in their voice, a voice you know like your own. They're begging you for help, for money. But it isn't them. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's the new reality of financial fraud, and it's designed to hit us exactly where we're most vulnerable.
You know, that intensely personal threat is really just the tip of a colossal iceberg. We're about to zoom out and look at the sheer scale of this crisis. And honestly, the numbers are just staggering.
Okay, just let that number sink in for a second. $442 billion. That's what's estimated to be lost in a single year. This isn't just petty theft. It's basically a parallel economy, one that's built entirely on deception and is draining massive resources from all of us all over the world.
And when you bring that massive global number down to a single country, the picture gets even sharper. Take the UK, for example. Fraud is projected to account for 43% of all estimated crime. Think about that for a second. That means nearly 1 out of every 2 crimes committed is some form of fraud. It's unbelievable.
So here's the kicker. Financial fraud has officially entered the big leagues of transnational organized crime. Interpol now ranks it right up there with cocaine and heroin trafficking. It's sophisticated, it's global, and it's become one of the biggest threats that law enforcement is facing anywhere today.
So you have to ask, how did it get this big, this fast? Well, the answer lies in a really terrifying new business model. Basically, the industrialization of the scam itself.
Now, these are not a few hackers in a basement. I want you to picture massive, office-like compounds, places where hundreds, sometimes thousands of people are forced to run scams 24/7. And this is where a horrifying new twist comes in, the dual victim model. You have the person on the other end of the line being defrauded, sure, but you also have the person making the call, who is often a victim of human trafficking themselves, forced into criminality.
And Interpol tells us that this whole model, it started as a regional problem, mostly in Southeast Asia. But it was just too profitable to stay in one place. It's a business model that has now been exported around the world, with new scam hubs popping up in the Middle East, in Africa, and in Central America.
And this really reveals the human supply chain that fuels these scam factories. We're talking about people from nearly 80 different countries. They're lured by fake job offers from as far away as Europe and South America, only to be trafficked into these centers. It's become a truly global web of exploitation.
Okay, but against this incredibly grim backdrop, there is a coordinated global response. The world's police forces are not just standing by and watching this happen.
Just take a look at the results from a single coordinated crackdown called Operation Libertera 3. You had 119 countries working together. That led to over 3,700 arrests. And so importantly, it led to over 4,400 victims being identified and rescued from these operations. It just goes to show that international cooperation can make a huge difference.
But it's a constant arms race. Just as law enforcement adapts, the criminals adapt too. And the next phase of this war is being fought on a brand new battlefield, one that's powered by the most transformative technology of our time, artificial intelligence.
Okay, so we need to talk about a concept here called Agentic AI. And forget about simple chatbots. This is more like a criminal mastermind in a box. It's an AI that can operate completely on its own. It finds the targets, it creates the scam, it executes the attack, and it launders the money, all without any direct human telling it what to do. It's like the perfect 24/7 fraud employee that never sleeps.
And here's basically how it works. First, the AI plans by just scraping social media looking for vulnerable targets. Then it executes the attack, using things like deepfake voices and videos that are tailor-made for that specific person. And finally, it launders the stolen money automatically using a maze of complex crypto transactions. The entire criminal lifecycle, from start to finish, completely automated.
So why are criminals jumping on this tech so fast? Well, it's simple. It works. It works really, really well. Just look at this comparison. AI-enhanced fraud isn't just a little more efficient, it's estimated to be 4.5 times more profitable. Why? Because it makes the scam so personal, so targeted, and so much more believable. And this right here might be the single most chilling fact from this entire report. 10 seconds. That's it. That's all it takes.
10 seconds of audio from a TikTok video, a YouTube clip, even a voicemail message is now enough to clone someone's voice and make that fake kidnapping call we talked about at the beginning. The barrier to entry for creating perfect, terrifying fakes, it's completely collapsed.
You know, we've been talking about billions of dollars and super advanced technology, and it's really easy to forget what's actually at the heart of this crime. And that's the real-world devastation it leaves behind. It is never, ever just about the money.
A person might eventually recover the financial loss, with a lot of luck. But the psychological wounds, the destruction of your trust in other people, and sometimes even in your own judgment, those can last a lifetime.
When you look at Interpol's research, you see this profound emotional aftermath. Victims feel this deep, paralyzing shame. They're often blamed by society, which just leads to more isolation. And this loss of trust, it can be so devastating that in the most tragic cases, it has led people to take their own lives. That is the true cost of fraud.
So, given the sheer scale, the incredible technology, and the devastating human cost, how in the world do we fight back against this global shadow industry?
This number is really interesting because it shows two things at once. Yes, the threat is growing, absolutely. But it also shows that international law enforcement cooperation is accelerating to meet that threat. A 54% increase in alerts and notices means that more intelligence, more data, is being shared across borders than ever before.
And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this whole briefing. We have to stop thinking about this as just a bunch of scams. It's not. It's a sophisticated, global industry, a form of what's called polycriminality, where the profits from defrauding one person in one country might be used to fund human trafficking or even terrorism in another. It's all connected.
And you know, the head of Interpol, Secretary General Valdeci Urquiza, he puts it perfectly. He says this is a call to action. And that requires a collective response from law enforcement, from big tech, and from all of us as individuals to build a truly global defense.
And so, we're going to end with this one final thought. As this technology makes it possible to create a perfect digital copy of literally anyone, it forces us to ask a much bigger, much deeper question. How do we verify identity? How do we secure trust? And